Welcome back to the 2024 World Series of Poker Main Event. It is the greatest spectacle in the game. Everybody putting up $10,000 to fight for that first prize, which will now surely be over $10 million, as we are hearing rumblings about a record-setting field here today. Here's our first look inside the Horseshoe Room. My name is Remko Rinkema, Donnie Peters alongside me, as David Tuckman and Chance Corneth, two real professionals, are doing the commentary on PokerGo.com. So please, if you want to listen to them, join them now. This is a 1-hour preview of the action. We'll be here to get you guys all excited and then kick it on over to Tuckman and Corneth to keep things moving. 8 hours of poker coverage today. 4 hours now, then dinner, and then 4 hours at night, as well as Kristen Foxen once again headlines our feature table. This time she is sitting with none other than Joe Cata. Look at that man on the right. Phil Ivey, the man, the myth, the legend, bagged a big stack, brought out his colorful orange tinted glasses. Sadly, no hat for him today, but anyway, he is at our feature table, and we're happy to have Ivey back in the mix. Absolutely massive field. Rumor has it, Donnie, we are approaching or have eclipsed the total number from last year, which of course was the first ever year we hit 10,000.
Yeah, WSOP did share on Twitter that we are over 10,000 entries. We have seen some photos, we have seen some videos from social media of how long the registration line is still running. So all signs pointing to a new record field. The record was 10,043. Last year that record shattered what happened in 2006 when it was 8,773. Blew it out of the water.
3,000.
And now we're going to be up over it again, very likely, which is just wild.
It's absolutely insane. Last year, of course, Daniel Weinman taking down that top prize of $12.1 million. Donnie, I know there might have been some additional motivation to not only break the record of entries, but also the first place prize. Give me an early estimation on what you think the first prize will be, whether we're going back to the same formula as last year. Do you think they'll scale it down, scale it up? Any thoughts there?
I have no reason to think that they won't continue along the path that they'll continue, and we're talking about WSOP. So I would say, like, make it a nice even number, 12,250,000.
Right. Oh, I love it. I absolutely love it. For those that are watching us on YouTube right now, this is a 1-hour preview, but please know that on PokerGo,
4,000?
we have 8 hours a day. Oh, excuse me, 8 hours today, tomorrow, and then 10 hours a day from there on out until we crown a winner. So there is still, I believe, if my math is correct, over 100 hours of main event coverage remaining as you're listening to our voices right now. All right, ace, queen, 3, rainbow on the flop here. Dombrowski with ace 10. Centrowitz with queen 8. Action on Dombrowski with top pair 10 kicker. We're still far removed from the money. A lot of people interested, of course, in when we will break the money bubble. Last year, we were 4 off the money at the end of day 3.
10.
So keep that in mind. That means a full day of play tomorrow before we reach the money, and then maybe the actual bubble will burst early on day 4. But we all have to, of course, wait and see on how fast the action will go. Centrowitz continues here on the turn after he hit trips. Not a bad start for him. Only 11K behind, so he'll be likely trying to get it in here on the river if Dombrowski decides to continue. Donnie, is this a reincarnation of George Danzer we're seeing on the right?
It very well could be. I love it.
You got to be recognizable when you play the main event.
This table is twice as big as the regular one.
Yeah.
It's a big table.
Definitely a big table.
Dombrowski comes along with the call. Donnie, can't really fault Dombrowski here for wanting to see a river card with his ace 10, right?
No, can't really fault him there. Still has some value in his hand. We'll see what comes here. Wow, all in. It's only 11 and a half.
Yeah, Centrowitz short stacked, setting this up for a shove all the way from the flop onwards. And now Dombrowski with a decision to make. Is my opponent ever going to have worse here? Donnie, what's the answer to that question?
I don't know. I'm not familiar with Sendrowitz. You know, I've said it on commentary, as have you. We don't always know the dynamics that these players share. You know, we are coming into this a few hours into day 2, and maybe they've played with other outside of this event. So it might be a little bit of a guessing game here for Dombrowski. You know, what does he beat? What sort of draws out there are out there that could possibly bluff? I don't really see any. You have a 10 in your hand, which is blocking like the King 10, Jack 10 bluff. So tricky spot here for Dombrowski, who is a very accomplished player, bracelet winner. Used to be an online crusher back in the day before Black Friday, you know, sort of derailed his career. So I would trust that Dombrowski can probably correctly snuff this one out.
Every chip matters in the main event, of course, but Dombrowski is getting quite a price. If you're just joining us.
Instructions about the boxes. Just put your cards on the boxes.
Yeah.
3 seconds.
It reads your card hand.
Okay.
As I was going to say, Kristen Foxen and Joe Cata on our secondary table, Phil Ivey headlining our main feature table. Dombrowski doesn't want to fold, but seems like he can't.
It's probably more of a question for Dombrowski. Oh, he does call.
All right, so Dombrowski makes the call. Quick toss into the muck as Sendrowski tables Queen 10. Sendrowitz. What am I doing? Donnie, give
You're
me a
all
coffee.
over the place.
Bring me a coffee. Let's
So
go.
They locked us in this room. I cannot leave.
Nice double up here for Sendrowitz to start his day.
Thanks.
Blinds right now, 501K with a 1K big blind ante. If you have a starting stack right now, that is worth 60 big blinds. Donnie, give us a quick rundown of what we've seen so far today, because there was an enormous line to register on day 2D. As we take a quick look here at the chip counts, Phil Ivey, not only the biggest name, also the biggest stack, 246 big blinds. Look for him to try and dominate this table. So this is not the right time to look away. Put your life on hold. We might get the Phil Ivey show. But back to my question, the vibe in the building has been insane. There's been so much buzz and, once again, massive lines.
Yeah, massive registration lines as people try and get into this event last minute. We've had several hundred people in the past 2 years register late on the day 2s and expect very much of the same for this year, probably even more so. You know, late regging and specifically max late regging has become much more of a thing as people try and realize some increased EV in doing so. You know, plus there's that FOMO element. You know, everyone's like, oh, okay, I gotta go. So, you know, might be some grinders around Las Vegas, you know, maybe in some more immediate areas who can drive out here and get here in time before the registration closes, fire their 10K and get into this likely record-setting field.
Action on Phil Ivey, who made it 2K. Sendrowitz. I really got that wrong 4 times in a row. Comes in with the 4-bet to 4.5K. And look at this. Ivey quick to release with the ace-queen off.
Yeah, that is interesting. I mean, I'm not going to be one here to judge Mr. Ivey.
Well, maybe you should.
But I would not have folded.
Now, Ivey was out of position, decides to let it go. The name of the game in the main event is stack preservation, discipline, patience. Do you feel as though, you know, you need that, or can you also be out of line like someone like Rigby, run up a stack and make it happen that way?
I think it's a blend. You have to be able to change at times, you know, kind of bounce back and forth depending on what the situation calls for, what the players are that you're up against, you know, what your stack size is, the point in the tournament, all that sort of stuff. You know, there are so many different variables that are involved in poker, and specifically tournament poker, that you always need to be aware of. So, you know, Maybe one hand calls for you to be a lunatic. Maybe another hand calls for you to be an alternate. You know, it kind of just always depends. I know that's kind of a non-answer to an answer, but that's the answer.
Maximov comes in with a raise to 2.5K. Senderwitz with sevens is going to get involved again for the third straight hand. This man looking to catch an early heater. Alexander Hurs from Belarus. Minsk, to be exact. Quite a nice poker resume, just shy of 900,000 in career tournament earnings. Hurs started playing poker back in 2012. He's 15th on the Belarus all-time money list. He gets involved here with ace-queen. And we got three-way action here going to the flop. King 9-4, 2 diamonds, roll off the deck. That is the flop for Maximov with king-queen. By the way, if you're catching us right now live on YouTube, please smash that like button. Let's bring this thing up to 1,000 likes. Also, we are chasing 600,000 YouTube subscribers. Yes, that is a big number. Yes, my life sort of depends on us hitting that during the main event. So if you're not yet a YouTube subscriber, please do it now. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. I promise you daily highlights. I promise you lots of live streaming. Just become part of our little community. Very much appreciated. Maximov gets it done here with a simple bet, so we move on to the next hand. Donnie, if you could pull up some stats, or I guess some names and numbers from last night. The people are curious. Who bagged big, as we like to talk about? Who did we lose? Give us a summary when you can of some of those big storylines.
Just looking over the report right now, Brian Hastings, 252, or sorry, I got to correct myself, Remko. My fault. I clicked on the wrong report. I was like, that doesn't make any sense that he's that high because I know where some of the stacks ended up yesterday. My fault, my fault, my fault. I don't know if this is right, Remko.
Wow, yeah, some controversial PDFs in your inbox.
Okay, here we go. Here we go. Sorry, I'm all over the place. Anthony Morisco out of Bloomingdale, Illinois. Looks like he bagged the chip lead, 797,000.
Raise 7,000.
Looking over at some of the names. Joe Tehan, I know we recognize that name. Friend of ours, Mohammed Nuara, Mo Nuara, bagged a lot of chips.
No one calls him Mohammed.
I mean, I'm just reading off the sheet. I know Nacho Barbero bagged chips. Jonathan Little, at the end of yesterday's stream, flopped a steel wheel. So, you know, and then he knocked someone out on that.
By the way, that hand was epic in many different ways. Please watch the highlight compilation on our YouTube channel of the day 2 ABC action. John Little flops a straight flush on the river when he puts his opponent all in. He orders a beer during the hand. He's like, hey, can I get a Corona, please? While his opponent is still tanking about his big decision there. So yeah, that was pretty funny. Little was on our feature table last night. Also saw Chris Moneymaker on our feature table. Things did not go as well for him. And look at this. Speaking of things going well, Hurs finds the red aces.
Raise. Is that 21? I can't see.
Comes in for the raise to 2,100, keeping it small. A round of quick folds over to Phil Ivey in the big blind, and he makes the call with 6-4 off. That is exactly the type of hand you could crush aces with. King 8-5, 2 hearts on board. Ivey picks up a gut shot. Hurs not only has the overpair, also has backdoor hearts going for him.
Little audience. Nice little audience.
Yeah. Looks like there's a nice bit of a rail building here around this table as
Try to put him past the red line.
Hurs puts out a bet would look like 3,800. Okay. Donnie, out of position if you're Ivey with stacks still relatively deep. Can we continue here with gut shots?
Probably not on a board that contains a flush draw because that does lessen your outs. You know, your opponent can have that flush draw, which will make you feel confident. Should the 7 of hearts come in, then you can be in a little bit of some no man's land there.
I wanted to point out to the people that are missing the voices of Lon, McCarran, and Norman Shad. They are doing commentary on the final 4 days of the main event. So
underneath the yellow.
when it really matters, when the
You
stakes
know?
are as high as possible,
Thank you.
we have Lon and Norm doing commentary along with Maria Ho. So if you want to subscribe to PokerGo right now, get in the mix. I promise you, you'll have your favorite voices to guide you on the later days of this event. Running a little promo to sign up for PokerGo later during this show, so might as well stick around for that. As we see Queen 8-4 Rainbow on this flop. And look at this, everyone gets a queen, and Joe Cata, the one all in here with Queen Jack. As we can see, he's got the best queen right now. He's up against Pilo.
Oh, wow.
Elleron Pilo from Israel, now living in Dallas, Texas,
Yeah.
deciding whether or not he wants to take a chance at knocking out Joe Cata. Pilo has $10,000 in career earnings on the live felt. Has been playing poker since 2002. He's getting an okay price here versus Cata, who is all in for only 10,000 chips, Donnie.
Oh.
There it is, the
Oh, wow.
call.
Pilo makes the call, and as you can see on the screen, 2 6s have been folded, so only 1 out here for Pilo. Joe Cata has a long way to go before he's back in the hunt. But right now, things are looking good for him to get a double up here. Cata awaiting turn and river. Turn card, King of Spades. Some chop options here that could save Pilo some chips. An 8 or a 4 or a king would chop it here. River card, deuce of hearts. That is safe. Joe Cata gets a double up to 27K. Still shy of half the starting stack, so probably still won't be pleased. Shout out to D Porter with the $5 donation on YouTube. Says we need Jared Bless at this table with his boxes of Bowman Sapphire to spice things up. And Blesnik has been a hoot.
Yeah. Yeah.
Robert in the chat says, Rem and Donnie back together. The world is in order again.
I like the dealer's name tag.
What is
Fly Eagles.
Fly Eagles.
Must be a Philadelphia Eagles fan. Fly
Wow.
Eagles fly.
Shout out Nick Foles. By the way, since we are still awaiting the final number of the main event, give us some predictions. The record, I believe, is 10,043, Donnie?
Correct.
So give us your best guesses in the chat. How many will we end up with? I believe we're already over 10,000, so registration closing very soon.
Raise 21.
Are we going to hit it? That's the question. Dominguez raising it up to 2,100 with 9-8 of diamonds. Davis in the big blind, considering a defend here. Donnie, we got to root for Davis. He's repping the PokerGo hoodie.
Yeah, I mean, of course. I mean, no favorites in the booth, but favorites in the booth, right? I mean, that's how it is.
Yeah, if you want our love, then make sure you rep the PokerGo logo, or maybe even No Gamble No Future. We always love to see it. Mark Davis here in the big blind, flopping 2 pair. Dominguez with a pair and a gut shot straight draw. Davis, by the way, 1.6 million in career earnings. He won $1 million at the Seminole in the Hard Rock Poker Showdown back in 2022.
16.
Dominguez continues for 1,600. Jose Ruiz Dominguez goes by his nickname of Fuco. $250,000 in earnings, has been playing poker since '03, so both players with a fair bit of experience.
Raise 38.
A very small check raise here, Donnie.
Yeah, almost the min here. I mean, min would have been 3,200, so. Probably expect Dominguez continues. I mean, maybe he reads this for some ultra strength out of Davis and doesn't. But yeah, this is on the small side for sure.
Now, whether you feel confident about your hand or not, your price is just too good. You're going to continue here with a hand like 9-8. Turn to 4 diamonds doesn't help Dominguez. Davis stays well out in front here with 2 pair.
Let's see what sort of continue we get out of Davis here. Check raise small on that flop. He comes with another check here. Double check raise time?
Yes, please.
I mean, that would require Dominguez betting here, which I'm going to guess he's not doing, but you never know.
Check.
Does check back. Queen on the turn. That fills up Davis. He's going to double check his hand here.
Davis looking for some value from his full house here. Dominguez still left with just a pair of 8s. Donnie, if we're Dominguez here, do we ever think that Davis might be on multiple bluffs here with something like a flush draw?
14,300.
I mean, it is interesting that you check raise the flop and then you check the turn when a blank rolls off. And now you're betting here on the river. I mean, it could certainly smell to Dominguez, you know, being like, hey, does he just have a jack, missed hearts, you know, something that he thought he had decent equity with on the flop? Is it something like a jack that's jack X of hearts, you know, stuff like that?
Well, Dominguez is seriously considering it here, so Davis might have found the right bet size here.
14,003. Call.
Dominguez does make the call here. Full house shown from Davis.
Wow. Very nice value here for Davis on our secondary feature table. If you're just tuning in, we got Phil Ivey on the main feature table, Kristen Foxen and Joe Cata on our secondary table. We'll be bouncing back and forth between these two tables. If you're in the chat with us, please let us know which player in the main event you're specifically rooting for. Could be a top pro, could be a friend or family member. We would love to keep an eye out for them. And who knows, you might see someone you know at one of our feature tables, as we have about 100 hours of coverage left here in the main event. The deeper you go, the better your chances are of making it onto one of our feature tables. Here's a look at our chip counts on our feature table 2. Kristen Foxen, 127K. She is our table chip leader and also probably our table captain. She's made some great moves and decisions on day 1 when we also had her on the feature table. Kristen Foxen, one of the most accomplished poker pros of the last couple of years. Winner of multiple bracelets. Can only imagine, Donnie, what the dinner table conversations are like between Alex and Kristen every night.
I mean, listen, I'm sure they're extremely insightful, you know? I mean, could you imagine being able to bounce off super, super, super high-level poker with your husband or wife, you know, nonstop? I mean, must be incredible.
That's pretty.
Must also be funny. There must be some friendly ribbing. Like when she folded that hand, you know, the 2 pair the other day, like, you know, I'm sure Alex ribs into her a little bit. I mean, why not?
Call.
We got Magana raising to 2K. Pilo with the call, and Anand also coming along from the big blind. King 3-7, 2 diamonds. Magana flops top pair. After after this hand, I'll check the chat to see who's got the most support.
Bet 18.
Magana do his own betting. He's going to fire out 1,800. Good chance this will just take it down unless someone has ambitions otherwise.
Raise 58.
Look at this. Speaking of ambitions otherwise, Pilo, Donnie, raising it up with ace high on this king 3-7 flop.
Yeah, this seems a bit out of line here, but again, this can go back to just if he's been playing with Magana for a while, maybe he has a sort of read on his opponent. He feels like he can attack here.
Well, Magana is going to call and see a turn card. He also has backdoor diamonds going for him. And the turn brings Pilo the 8 of clubs, giving him some showdown value. Now, showdown value not really something on Pilo's mind as he continues to Pilo the chips into the middle here. 11-2 is the bet with his pair of 8s. Magana still sitting on king 10, top pair. Donnie, the decision to call down with king 10 becomes increasingly more difficult if the pressure continues to build like this.
Yeah, and this is a spot where I think if you're Magana, you're starting to think, okay, if I call here, what's going to be coming on the river? What sort of sizing? If I do call here, the pot's going to go up to 41,000, you know, a little bit over. So SPR can line things up for a shove from my opponent. And yeah, this is not easy.
Yeah, because Magana probably also concerned about what will happen on the river. Perhaps Pilo just has a really good read on his opponent, perhaps a good feel for things. And look at this. Magana lets go of his top pair, and Pilo just takes down the chips here with that pair of 8s. But of course, that pair of 8s seemed meaningless to him as he continued betting on it. Isn't it wild how at first observation you're thinking, wow, this guy is just torching his stack. And then 30 seconds later, he's taking down the pot.
I love the aggression, man. I love it, you know, and if that's a sign of things to come from Pilo, I think we're in for a treat here as viewers.
A quick little summary here of our big name players that people want to root for in the chat. I see lots of Mike Matisau, lots of Tonka. I see quite a bit of Negreanu fans, some Barbero. Phil Ivey, of course, has a ton of fans. Very much appreciate everyone for tuning in. Alex Foxen in the mix. If you're catching us on YouTube right now, please smash that like button, subscribe to our channel, closing in on 600,000 subscribers here during the main event. Staying with this table until something noteworthy happens with Phil Ivey on our main feature table. It's the beauty of having two tables. We don't have to sit and stare if there's no action. And perhaps, as I said that, we might be going back to our main table. There it is. Okay. All right, we got Dombrowski versus Margers. The man with the mohawk has his tournament life on the line with pocket tens. Dombrowski with kings in a dominating spot here. 60K in the middle. Margers hoping to get back to the starting stack. And a 10 in the window. He drills it. A set for Margers, who breathes a sigh of relief. Dombrowski with kings, looking for the lone king of hearts that is left in the deck to save him. Turn card, 7 of hearts, doesn't change a thing. Margers, 1 card away from a very, very welcome double up. Man, this poker game is not easy. Getting it in good, no guarantee. River is the queen of hearts, close but no cigar. And Margers gets to sit back down again. I did not hear him use this one time, so perhaps he's saving it for a rainy day.
You got to save it for later. You can't use it now. Not even in the money yet. Not really close to the money, so have to wait. Okay, save it for a better time.
Donnie, how many words do you
Raise,
think
three
Phil Ivey
bet,
will say today
all in.
at this table?
Under 4.5.
And those words, of course, do not include words such as all in.
No, I mean, he's going to let his chips do the talking for that sort of stuff.
Isn't it wild how Phil Ivey just doesn't say a word, but there's so much intrigue? Excuse me, everybody pay attention. We have a 20-minute flash sale going on. Sign up for a new annual sub to PokerGo in the next 20 minutes using promo code YT20. Get $20 off your first year of our annual subscription and receive $20 in PokerGo shop credit on a $100 plus purchase. So once again, this is valid for only 20 minutes. It's our best deal of the summer. Use it right now. Use promo code YT20 to take $20 off your annual sub. Donnie, shine some extra light on this, please.
I mean, this is a great deal for sure. We not only WSOP, did you mention high stakes poker coming up? No gamble, no future coming up. Bang, bang. I mean, you get it all. You can also possibly win a main event seat next year.
Absolutely. So
3 of those are being given away.
For those unfamiliar, we're giving away 3 main event seats to our PokerGo subscribers. Excuse me. So if you are a PokerGo annual subscriber, you're automatically entered into our raffle. We're doing our first 2 draws during the main event this year, Donnie.
Yeah, July 15th will be the first 2 winners will be drawn. The third winner will be drawn closer to or during the upcoming Poker Masters. So all you have to do is be an annual subscriber to PokerGo on the drawing dates. So if you get in now, that obviously locks you in for a year. That will lock you in for these drawings, and you could win a seat to next year's main event, which also comes with a $500 travel credit. It also comes with a 4-night stay at Aria.
Wow. By the way, Phil Ivey was trying to see a flop for 2,000, but Hurst
You just registered?
put a stop to that.
It was a long line.
I have an account,
Oh.
so there's no long term. But there was like maybe 300 people in line.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Sounds
But I'm
like
not sure if they all for the main event because there's some other tournaments going on at the same time.
sounds like Maximov
I
entered
think
this
they,
tournament
They said it was a long
just
line
now.
for this.
I mean, it was longer line than usual, so I would assume most of the people, yeah.
Artem Maximov living
could run
in
the water.
Aventura, Florida right now.
Plays a lot in the studio. Mostly
There's
comes
still 2
out
more
for the
hours to
PLO
register,
events that
right?
we have during the
Something
year.
like that.
I think end
High
of
stakes player.
This level.
Good player.
Donnie, what are your thoughts on the day 2 registration? And
Did
chat,
they get over
please
10K?
feel free to
already
chime in
over.
on this.
Yeah.
You can register until
Probably gonna be
today. I
way
believe
bigger
3
than the
levels
last
into
year.
play.
2
Oh,
levels
no
into
way.
play today, so 4 hours. I mean, 2 levels plus break. So
subjective.
10-5,
2 hours,
yeah.
20-minute break, 2 hours, 20-minute
5
break.
is like-
That's when the registration will close when the 3rd level
They were
of the
saying
day
they needed
starts.
like 200.
I mean,
today
I
to
think it's
match
fine
up.
to have day 2
Matched last
registration.
year.
Yeah. So I don't think they're gonna have.
I think it accommodates a
700
whole lot of people. If they were to do it, Remko, and then 30 people took advantage of it, okay, whatever.
Right.
There's like 800. So, I mean, it's like clearly this is something people want, right? I think you give a lot of people some time to delay their start coming out here because it is hard to take off what is essentially 2 weeks if you make a deep run in this, right? And you can skip all the day ones, all that early stuff. You can come in late. You get still a decent stack to work with. If you max late reg, you get 50 big blinds. So I think it's fine. Listen, and if you want to show up hand number 1 and you want to try and get some chips early, you can also do that. The options are there.
Makes me feel as though most players on the early flights are either staying in town already or live in Las Vegas locally, or perhaps make a quick trip out from LA or from Phoenix. And then right now we're seeing the people, mostly probably
One green.
Americans, traveling to Vegas to see if they can make a run and spin it up.
Yeah.
Just asking about your
I think
chips.
it's great. I think you also get people who might be on the fence a little bit that want to see how it goes. Maybe they want to just kind of let their FOMO build up and get pushed over the edge that way and then be like, you know what, I'm getting on a plane, let's go. I don't mind it. I mean, I think late reg is just something that we've come to accept in poker these days, and I think it's fine.
Just to clarify, the tournament is still a freeze out. It's not re-entry. Like, you
Yes.
cannot buy back in on day 2. You can only enter once, and you just get a little bit more time to buy in. Baker and Hurst here. going head-to-head, and Baker gets to take on his first pot here on stream. Jared Baker from Flemington, New Jersey. Hey, I know this guy. Is this Jeff Platt?
All right, out here in the event center, let us say hello to one Ebony Kenny. If you could stand up for me, please. Great to see you as always. What is it like to be a part of what very well could be a record-setting main event?
Oh my goodness, it's so exciting. I think being able to play the main event in any year is an honor, and it's always exciting. But obviously, you know, after last year, record setting, and then this year, it's fun as hell.
I love that. We talk a lot throughout this tournament about confidence. You're a confidence coach. What's the value of confidence in a tournament like this?
Oh man, I mean, confidence is honestly, it is priceless in a spot like this, because there's always going to be somebody better than you at poker. I mean, there just is, unless you're, you know, at the very top. So having confidence in what you do and being able to ground yourself in that, like, it helps me tremendously. And it's a long tournament. So, yeah.
Gonna send you back to the action. Have fun as hell for us, okay?
Thank you.
All right, thanks, Ebony. Guys.
Ebony Kenny in the main event, always easy to root for. Such a positive personality in the world of poker. And we go back to the action here as Maximov trying to attack Phil Ivey's big blinds. But Phil Ivey's going to say, no, no, no. He's going to 3-bet here. Donnie, are we more likely to 3-bet from the small blind in this specific scenario just because of the way Ace-Jack plays?
Yeah, and also you're up against a button raise, which is probably pretty wide overall. So I think you can attack that with a hand like Ace-Jack.
All right, so the first pot we've seen Ivey rake in probably helps to remind everyone watching that Ivey has 240,000 chips. Like, that is absolutely ridiculous. That is a stack that you'd be happy with at the end of day 2. There's going to be people making the money with far less than this. Lines right now, 501K with a 1K big blind ante. If you're just joining us, please hit that like button, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Make sure you're along for the ride as we post daily highlights on our YouTube channel, as well as just like big single hands that we see. Do some live streaming and all that good stuff. Dombrowski here, finding kings again. The last time he found kings, things did not go his way. Got him cracked by pocket 10s. Now getting a call from both Baker and Ivey. Ivey in a really good situation here on the button with the suited ace. Ivey, 46 million in career tournament earnings.
Is that all?
It's wild. I love it on the bio sheet, Donnie. For hobbies for Ivey, it says sports betting, golf, and baccarat.
I love it.
All right, 5-way action to the flop here. Let's see who can catch something. Oh, baby. Jack 4-10. Phil Ivey, top pair, top kicker, but Dombrowski still with the overpair. Now, not a lot of hearts missing from this deck potentially, so Ivey does have a backdoor opportunity here.
He does. I mean, this could ultimately be a tricky spot for him. We'll see what Dombrowski wants to come with here.
Now, if you're Dombrowski, Donnie, does a flop like this make you nervous holding pocket kings?
I think it's only natural to feel nervous when you have an overpair on a somewhat connected board like this against 4 other opponents. I mean, curious what Ivey makes of this.
Yeah, so my thinking here, if I'm Phil Ivey, is this guy is confident enough to continue into 5 people with whatever he is holding. So that probably does not make you too excited about the ace-jack prospects. You're mostly looking for improvement on turn and river.
Yeah, you don't need to go too crazy with your hand. There are hands out there that do have you beat, of course. This diamond on the turn could possibly slow down the action. Neither player with a diamond. Ivey didn't get any backdoor heart possibilities coming in.
Action on Dombrowski, 25K in the middle, and he's going to check. if we're in Ivey's shoes, how heavily do we weigh showdown value versus potentially thinking ace-jack will not likely be good? Maybe the diamonds are giving me an opportunity to take this pot away.
Yeah, I mean, I think you probably just ultimately want to check this back and, you know, not get blown off your hand in any sort of way. And that does look to be what Ivey did here. King on the river, but it's a diamond.
Yeah, Dombrowski, of course, not happy to see that king because it is a diamond. Boards like these always full of intrigue as far as bluffing goes. And Ivey decides to check back, doesn't want to risk any unnecessary chips here.
A lot of kings.
And ace-jack will end up in the muck. Stoic, quiet. Ivey hiding behind the hat. All business. Probably not too happy to be under the bright lights. Would much prefer to be in some back corner of the room.
Still hasn't said a word that I've heard.
Your line is still very good. Your line still is very good. For those just joining.
What's up? Annoying with the phone. Just gotta get up every time. Can we get Red Bull over here or what? Let's deal with that. This stops. Can I have that on camera? Bad for the kids or what?
All right, going back to a little overview here of the Horseshoe Room to remind you that we have a 20-minute flash sale going on right now. Sign up for a new annual sub to PokerGo.com in the next 20 minutes using promo code YT20 to get $20 off your first year of the annual subscription. And you get $20 in shop credit on a $100 plus purchase in our merch shop. And we got lots of cool new stuff in there for you right now. So YT20 is our promo code. Still valid for another 9 minutes or so. So get in there right now. A little bit of urgency. Whoa. And watch the remainder of the main event, as well as we have a new season of High Stakes Poker coming up. We have a new season of No Gamble, No Future in the works. And we have tons more live streaming later on this year as well. But first, let's focus on the task at hand. More than 100 hours of main event coverage still remaining. And 7 of those hours to be happening right now after Donnie and I wrap up this first free preview. So if you want to be in the mix, follow along with Poker's Greatest Events. You might as well get that sub right now on the discounted code.
Oh, we talked about this.
Yeah, Hunterdon County.
Donnie, isn't it ironic
Not far from you.
that part of Phil Ivey's success and the way he's been able to make money playing poker is due to the cameras and the exposure the game has gotten over the years, while at the same time, himself absolutely hating being in the spotlights.
Where?
Like where the fans
that's
the Wyndham.
part of the mystique of Phil Ivey.
That's like
you know, he doesn't really chase the spotlight like someone like a Phil Hellmuth does, for example, who, you know, anytime Phil sees a camera, he kind of wants to get in front of it. Most of the time, it's his own camera, right?
Parks Tuesdays.
But, you know, Ivey likes to be quiet, not be out there.
Always down to go, you know.
I just get the sense he doesn't like when people get a look at his hole cards and can see how he plays and all that sort of stuff. So
it's just like, for some reason,
like you said, if you could,
like
if he would prefer it, then he'd be in a
Red Bull,
an old restaurant somewhere in the back of the casino.
Like they have like 10 to 12 10-10 games on every Tuesday. Yeah.
Somehow people decided they get together.
Dombrowski here with the raise under the gun.
A regular whale that
the
would
big blind,
like lose, and
Queen 7-5
it
rainbow
just became a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've heard of it. Yeah.
Yeah. They have bigger games too.
How you doing?
Hurst taking
like
the
a 10,
lead with
20, 40,
his 5
50,
pairing.
100, but the 10-10 game.
Dombrowski might just want to continue here as the pre-flop
it's a
aggressor.
really good
Let's
game.
see.
You live somewhere close?
Like 90 minutes away, so it's kind of annoying to go to,
back.
but
Deuce of hearts on the turn.
where do you live?
Miami.
Pretty hot there too.
Different HUD, but yeah.
More humid.
Still HUD, yeah. I kind of prefer over there compared to here.
Another check from Hurst
You
here.
know, where there's more water. You're not so much in the desert.
Yeah.
feel like there's a hairdryer in my face when I get off the plane. I'm just stuck on.
Yeah, for sure.
Dombrowski checks
That'll-
back once again.
9 o'clock at
3
night, it was
comes
still
in on the
100.
river. It's the 3 of
Oh,
hearts.
right now is insane, yeah.
Hurst
This
is
year is
still
worse
best
too.
here with his pair of 5s.
Compared to last year.
You know, I think 128's their highest, but it was 118 and 120 the other day. Sunday.
Super high.
It never gets so hot in Miami, but it's like it feels a little different, you know.
Yeah,
It gets to like 100.
there's more moisture. I've been overseas in the desert. It was 130 in Jordan. We pulled in, so
Yeah.
I was in the Navy, so
Okay.
that's hot. Freaking in the shade, it was 130. Like, what the hell?
Hurst is going to toss the bet out here of just 1,000, trying to get some value here.
Minutes to break.
You do the rotation, you only play here for 2 hours and then you go back to normal.
I don't know about that.
Dombrowski thinking
I think
about
it's
it here
all
with
the
ace
season here working.
high.
Sorry, Phil. Possible.
Let's go. Okay, Hurst takes this one down. Coming up on the end of our
Is that
flash
how it
sale.
goes?
Don't
We stay
forget.
here for one. We're here the rest of the day, right?
Nah, I don't think so.
No? Maybe 2 breaks?
Whatever they decide.
No?
If we're
Think it-
boring, they'll put us back in.
You know, is it 2 levels?
Gen Pop.
One level.
Was that Ivy's voice? No.
I don't think that was Ivy's
What's the
voice.
wait
I would like Ivy to use the words Gen Pop.
No shot.
That'd be so funny. All right, this is your final reminder that we have a flash sale going on right now. Use promo code YT20 to sign up for the annual sub. I've done my thing. I've made you guys aware. That's all I'll say about it. $20 off the annual sub, $20 in shop credit on a $100 purchase. We got over 100 hours of main event coverage left. The main event, the best show in the entire world. Treat this as a pay-per-view. Treat this as whatever you want. Just don't miss out. It's going to be a blast. We have live chat as well on PokerGo. We've actually brought some of our incredible moderators from our YouTube channel to help us out on the PokerGo chat, so that should be a much better experience than in the past. I will be the first to admit that it was a little hectic in there last year.
Oh, yes.
So this year, shout out to Russell, Christie, Jimmy Bluffett, and all the other mods. Who else is in there? Are those the 3? We got more, right?
I think Teddy's
Teddy's
might
in
be in there.
Maybe we'll get Jason in there as well during the main later on. But yeah, much love to everyone who's supporting our channel. Queen 8 deuce, excuse me.
With 2 clubs?
Phil Ivey flopping a set, Baker, top pair, and the flush draw. This could be some real fireworks, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, Baker, understandably so, just comes out firing right away. 2,500. He was the pre-flop raiser. Can't blame him. Top pair, good flush draw.
Now Ivey, quick with the raise, Donnie. Against a board like this, you don't want to give away any free turn cards. Or free, I should say, cheap turn cards.
I mean, it might have been fine to just flat here, but I think Ivy's probably just recognizing the situation that, listen, Ivy's extremely good at reading his opponents, right? He's made a career out of it. So he might just be recognizing that, listen, Baker looks like he really likes his hand. He came out firing pretty fast on that flop, so I'm just going to hit him with the raise right now, and let's see if we can get the money in.
How scared are you being Baker up against Phil Ivey?
I mean, how can you not be scared?
Oh,
it's Phil Ivey.
I'm intimidated just watching right now. It is really, it's really different than any other player.
And I'm kind of surprised, given where Baker's stack size is, that this money just didn't go in on the flop.
King of spades on the turn. Baker still looking for a club. Ivey now, of course, looking for value.
Ivey now probably really hoping his opponent has king-queen specifically.
Ivey reaching. Bets 10K, half the pot. Now, is this clever because of Baker's stack? Yeah, and he does make the call pretty quickly.
Yeah, I mean, Ivey's pretty much just milking him here.
Big river card coming up. It is the 10 of hearts. Baker misses the flush draw. Ivey with a set of 8s. Now, the run out, Donnie, perhaps a way for Baker to get rid of this.
100.
Ivey puts them all in. And Baker lets it go. Phil Ivey chips up nicely. Now
Some
up
change
to
over there first?
250,000.
Sure.
Cruising. Must be nice to be Phil Ivey. Must be nice to
Guess you'll
flop
get to
sets.
see it.
What's that?
You'll get to see it.
Yeah.
I just want Ivey to say something funny. Phil Ivey up to 254 big blinds. A huge gap over our second biggest stack, Jason Sagel from Canada. He's 157,000, has quite a big stack. Donnie, does it stand out to you how many stacks we have that are either close to or just above starting?
Yeah, I mean, I think that kind of goes back to a lot of the play that you see on the day ones. You know, people tend to be more conservative, more passive. You know, they sign up for the biggest poker tournament in the world. For many of them, it is a bucket list item every single year. Some for their whole lifetimes. You know, they want to come out and they want to play the greatest poker tournament in the world. They ultimately do, and then it becomes kind of a, okay, I'm here. Let's make it last. Let's not do anything crazy, you know, tight aggressive, or, you know, and let's just try and get to day two, which can then result in you getting to day two with right around starting stack, you know. And we also don't know if any of these players were late registrants for today, which would also explain the fact that they come in right around the starting stack, or they come in at the starting stack and then here they are right around the starting stack when they get up to the feature. So yeah.
Looks like we have a bunch of limpers generating some four-way action.
4 players.
Sagel with a nice stack. First one to enter here, deciding to limp. Sort of surprised to see that, Donnie. You can really pick up some nice chips by just showing some aggression.
Oh, yes.
25.
25.
Margers flops top pair, decides to bet.
Yeah, top pair, he has backdoor clubs. We can see that those aren't good up against Baker's backdoor clubs, but Baker does make the call. Action now on Dombrowski, who's open-ended here. Does have to be a little bit concerned about a possible diamond draw. There are some higher straight draws out there. 3 ways here to the turn.
3 players.
Jack of spades hits on the turn. Baker now with top pair and that aforementioned gut shot. Dombrowski still open-ended. 2 quick checks to Baker. Donnie, oh wow, and a check back there as well. Another jack hits, also brings out a diamond. Good spot for Baker here to pick up some chips.
Notice the speed at which Baker is acting when it gets to him. Whether it is folding, whether it is calling. You know, we saw the quick continuation bet in the last hand against Ivey, and then on the river we saw a very quick fold. Here, very quick check back on the turn. We see a very quick bet when it gets to him. So something that the other players might pick up on, specifically Ivey, who's always very in tune with what his opponents are doing.
Chad is wondering, Donnie, is late registration still open or is it closed now? I think we're on the cusp here right now.
Still, in real life we're talking?
Yeah, real life.
Still open because they got started about 40 minutes late today. They did a big presentation. They revealed the bracelet.
Oh, it looks so good.
Founding father of the WSOP, Jack Binion, was here to reveal the bracelet. You guys can head over to the PokerGo Twitter account to see some photos of that bracelet. The most expensive trophy in all of sports is what they said. I believe it's worth around $250,000.
Oh my God.
Decked out in diamonds, just super badass for sure.
So registration closing soon, but not quite yet as we go over to our secondary table. Kristen Foxen with A7 up against Dominguez and Magana, 8,500 in the middle.
Bet 3,000.
He's going to bet 3,000. Donnie, at what level of fame in poker do you start benefiting from it? Like when players get on TV, there's always this, I guess, new dimension and element where you get more fold equity or people pay you off later because they want to play against you. And,
Heads up.
my second question, do you think Kristen Foxen is in that sort of atmosphere right now?
Yeah, I do think she is. And the reason why I say that is I don't know if you saw on Twitter, but I believe his name was Grant O'Leary.
Yeah, he was very mad that I called him Grant Leary.
Well, I mean, you know, I know you're having a trouble with the name. Okay, I get it. I mean, you were calling whatever his name is today. I don't even remember how you were pronouncing it.
It was bad.
I mean, you were all over the place. It's all right. I get it. But yeah, I'm trying to find the tweet now, and I'm doing a horrible job with this.
I do recall seeing the tweet as we still have action here. Foxen got called on the turn. Dominguez now leading the river after making a full house. But yeah, Grant O'Leary saying that he tilt shoved against Kristen Foxen in that big hand we saw on day one. And look at this, Foxen calling it off with ace high.
Full house.
Dominguez showing a full house, winning a sizable pot here from Kristen Foxen. But yeah, I mean, the tilt shove definitely a real thing in poker, maybe even more so in the main event when you get pushed around by a top pro for many hours.
I found the tweet at GrantManThinks, Grant O'Leary. It was an honor to battle with Chrissy B, 24 poker on poker's biggest stage. And then he added Joseph Hashem because Joe was in the booth with us at the time. Yes, it was a tilt-driven punt, I know, but guess what? Shit worked, and I bluffed one of the world's best.
I love it.
I mean,
I love it, Grant. I love it.
That alone right there tells you that Kristen Foxen is on that level because Grant O'Leary wanted to bluff one of the world's best. He said it there in the tweet, and he did it because she did fold the 2 pair. She had the best of it in the hand. So yeah, I mean, she's in that situation. You know, it's not only the wanting to do something, bluff, stack, whatever it is against a top player, but when you're under the cameras and the lights, it's only ramped up, right? So the fact that he was on a feature table, he likely knew that it was going to be a big hand that was filmed and got some buzz, right? So yeah, I mean, she's in that category now.
I love that Joe Hashem responded to his tweet immediately and said, "I'm glad you got away with it, mate. We've all been there." Shout out to GrantManThinks on Twitter. Go give him a follow if you enjoyed that shove versus Chrissy B. Joe Cata with pocket eights involved against Pilo. Cata still desperately looking for some chips here. Pilo has a wheel draw. Let's see if he wants to continue firing. By the way, we are exactly 80 YouTube subs away from hitting 592,000. So if you want to be part of the crew here, hit subscribe on YouTube. Let's get us up to 592,000. And what if we just add 1,000 a day and then we just get to 600K? That'd be kind of sick. Cata bets 1,800. Pilo makes the call. This man has already shown his willingness to bluff. Let's see what the turn brings. Backdoor clubs going for him as well. And the turn is the 9 of clubs, putting backdoor clubs out there. The potential for it, at least.
Yes, me too.
Cata now slows down, decides to check. Let's see if Pilo takes the initiative right now.
Nope. It's just under.
Where? That's what I was trying to figure out.
Yeah. Like, this is cool.
There's no camera here. There's a camera right there. Where?
Wow, look at this. Takes control. That's 3,900. Now Cata with a tough decision, Donnie. His stack not very deep. Can we really continue here because we might be facing a shove on the river?
Yeah, and this is also something where we've seen Pilo get very aggressive, right? He had that ace high earlier that he raised and then bet the turn and got Magana to fold top pair. How much has Cata picked up on the aggression from Pilo? And if he has picked up on the aggression and thinks that Pilo is capable of getting out of line and has been getting out of line, then he's probably just going to call down here. You know, keep all of Pilo's bluffs in and go from there. Oh, wow, this river, ace of spades. Out of nowhere, drills Pilo with the best hand. Cata did make a good call on the turn, was ahead, but this ace comes in here, and now he's behind with less than pot in his stack.
Check.
Cata checks.
Check.
Pilo opts to check behind. Kata's not going to like what he sees.
Aces.
Wow, Joe Kata must be getting a little frustrated here, down to 15 bigs. And with that, we have reached the end of our free preview stream. Please head on over to PokerGo.com. We have top professional Chance Kornuth in the booth with David Tuckman, top commentator in his own right. Thank you all so much. My name is Remko Rinkema, Donnie Peters alongside me in the booth. We'll be back tomorrow with more preview coverage of the WSOP. For now, go to PokerGo, keep watching. We have 7 more hours of live streaming today. We have Ivey on the feature table. You're not going to want to miss this. For now, thank you for watching.